I'm Michelle Segar. I'm a behavioral sustainability researcher, and I'm the Associate Director of the Sport, Health, and Activity Research and Policy Center for Women and Girls.
And I'm Jason Duvall, lecturer and researcher in the program of the environment at the University of Michigan. Some of my work focuses on the benefits of spending time in natural environments. Spending time in natural environments is associated with reductions in blood pressure, also reductions in certain stress hormones like cortisol, those kinds of things. Also improvements in psychological aspects, so mood would be a big one. Also improvements in the ability to function effectively. One of the big areas of study looks at exposure to natural environments and then how people function in terms of self-regulation. Can I focus on a task for a longer period of time? Do I make less mistakes? We see big improvements in terms of exposure to natural environments and some of those outcomes. In terms of the theoretical explanations for why people might experience these kinds of cognitive improvements, has to do with the attentional system. When we look at attention, we can really separate attention into two different types. One type is what we would call involuntary attention. It's the kind of attention that you use when you're naturally drawn to something that's innately fascinating, right? It doesn't take any effort to focus on those kinds of stimuli, those kinds of events. So if you go to the demolition derby, right, you don't have to work to pay attention to what's going on there. However, there are a whole other set of tasks which require effort, right, require focus. So when you're doing those tasks, it takes work, right? And we've all been in that situation. We've spent time writing a paper, working on our taxes, all kinds of different activities every day that are effortful. And after you spend a certain amount of time on them, you can feel mentally exhausted, you feel worn out. What happens when you spend time in a natural environment is you're letting that directed attention system rest because you're in an environment that's filled with involuntarily fascinating things, right? So staring at trees or wild animals, that doesn't require effort, right? It's not effortful, it's easy to do. So you're basically shifting that burden away from the directed system and onto this involuntary system. It's not necessarily enough just to go spend time in a natural environment. You need to be present in the environment. So what I see a lot of on campus around here is students walking to and from class, right, on their phones, texting each other. And to me, that's a missed opportunity because what's happening is they're not present in the environment. So they have a chance to take a break, to consolidate some things that they've been learning about that, that could happen with not just students, but other people too. And when you don't do that, right, when you interrupt it with something else and you're absent from the natural environment, then you're not being able to take advantage of it.